Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Engineer Daniel. If you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and also click on the notification button in order to get notified whenever I upload a new video. You can also send your feedback through the comment section below. Now, let's get started. Welcome back to my channel. In this section, we'll be talking about overview of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is a short for Hypertext Markup Language. CSS is a short for Cascading Style Sheet. JS is a short for JavaScript. CSS, HTML, and JavaScript are technologies used for creating a dynamic web page. HTML is for laying the structure of a web page. CSS is for styling the web page, while JavaScript is for giving the functionality to the web page. Now, let's continue to explain three of the technologies, starting with HTML. HTML was introduced in 1990. HTML was recommended by www that collaborates with W3C in 1997. W3C means www consortium and www means World Wide Web. HTML5 is a cooperative project between W3C and Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group. Majority of the browsers support HTML5 elements and application programming interface. History of HTML. Over the years, we have HTML 3.0, followed by HTML 3.2, also followed by HTML 4.0. Then finally, currently we have HTML 5.0, which is also known as HTML5. HTML5 is the latest version, and it includes new features such as canvas, article, nav, header, footer, section, audio, video, etc. Alright, having understood the basic concept of HTML, let's head over to CSS. As we said earlier, CSS is Cascading Style Sheet. CSS is used for styling the web page. CSS is a instruction-based language which specifies the formatting instruction for the context specified in an HTML page. CSS is a mechanism for adding style such as font, color, and spacing. CSS has multiple levels and profile. The general syntax of CSS consists of three major parts, namely the selector, the property, and the value. Selector refers to the HTML elements with the style that are applied to them, and they can be a type selector, a class selector, ID selector, universal selector, studio selector, or attribute selector. To learn more on this selector, property, and value, check my video on my YouTube channel. In summary, CSS is a style sheet language. It informs the browser how to present the document. It uses a markup language for describing the presentation semantics of the document. CSS has multiple levels and profile, which are updated over the years with different new features. History of CSS. Over the years, we have CSS1, then later we have CSS2, then after some years we have CSS3, then currently we have CSS4, but most people prefer to use CSS3 because of its unique functionalities. Alright, having understood HTML and CSS, let's head over to JavaScript. JavaScript is a universal programming language. It can be used to create a website and app. JavaScript can be used for site-server code. JavaScript is a programming robot which enhances the user's experience on the website and interactivity, animation, web form, fetching data, and many other good things. With all these tools, you can build a responsive web page. This means with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can build a responsive web page. As a front-end web developer, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is very much important, as HTML help you to build the structure, while CSS help you to build the style. why JavaScript helps you to add the functionalities to your web page. Now, let's talk about some library and some framework needed for easier and more beautiful web page. In this video, we'll be discussing about 2 framework and 1 library. Frameworks. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is the most popular CSS framework for developing responsive and fast mobile websites. Bootstrap 5 is the newest version of Bootstrap. Now, let's discuss about another framework, Angular.js. Angular is a development platform built on the transcript. It is a component-based framework for building scalable web apps. Now, having known the 2 frameworks, which are Bootstrap and Angular.js, let's head over to discussing the library. React. React is an open source JavaScript library used for front-end development. It is used for building user's interface or UI components. Alright, I hope you're able to understand the Bootstrap as a CSS framework, the Angular.js as a JavaScript framework, and the React as a JavaScript library. On this video, I'm going to give you some differences between Angular.js and React. Angular.js is a JavaScript framework built using TypeScript, while React.js is a JavaScript library built using JSX. This is the first difference between both of them. Now, let me give you another differences between both of them. Angular.js is the most used to build complex enterprise-grade apps like single-page apps and progressive web apps, while React is used to build UI components in any app with frequent variable data. Though this is another differences between the Angular and the React. So finally, let me give you the final differences. Angular learning curve is stepper due to its too many inbuilt functionalities, while React has smaller package size. These are the 3 differences between the JavaScript Angular.js and the JavaScript React. Now, having understood HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some library and framework, let's practicalize this in action. Now, I'm going to use Code Editor. Code Editor is a software that we use for editing our code. I'm going to use the popular code editor called VS Code, Visual Studio Code. This is going to be the code editor I'm going to use. Visual Studio Code is very popular as most people prefer to use it because of its unique functionalities. Now, to get started, download your Visual Studio Code just go to Chrome, go to Google, type VS Code, Visual Studio Code, then hit on the download button, download for your Windows, Mac or Linux. After downloading, just wait for a while, then the download will be completed. After that, then open the VS Code. Now, when we open it, we'll see a setting. You can cancel this setting out. Then, first thing we do, we're going to install a library, an extension. Actually, we're going to install an extension called Live Server. So hit this button and download a Live Server. So you can also install other extensions like Prettier to make your work fine. But for now, let's just install Live Server and then let's move on. After installing Live Server, the first thing we do, we go to desktop. Go to desktop, right click, create a folder. We create a folder and we name it our project name. That name we want to use as our project. We name it, for example, Code with Dantec. We write Code with Dantec. Now we have created a folder. Good. Let's go back to our VS Code. Go back to our VS Code. Then let's click on File. Click on File. Then let's click on Open Folder. Click on Open Folder. Okay. Then let's go click on Desktop. Okay. We click on Desktop. Then we click on Code with Dantec because that is the new folder we just opened. Okay. So click on there. Then we open. Good. Now we now have a folder opened on our VS Code. Now, we are going to create an extension of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. To do that, just click on this icon here called File. You can see File and Folder, File and Folder. So you click on the file, then type index.html for HTML.extension. Anything can go, but make sure you have .html. Make sure it ends with .html. Okay, good. Now, after creating .html, you create .css. Then you also create .js. But let's take it one after the other. So let's create .css now. Click on this plus icon here. Then click let's use style.css. Style.css. After typing style.css, good. You can see CSS is now created. So let's create JavaScript by clicking on the same icon. So let's type app.js. App.js. Good. Now, in this project, we are going to build a digital clock. This is our index, this is our style, and this is our JavaScript. Now, let's head over to index.html. Then we have a doc type here. We have the head, we have the body. Then let's create h2 and h2 tag. So we just type h2, then we create digital clock, type digital clock. Then we create a div called with the class of clock. So we now have div here. We have span, hour. We use an ID as an hour. Then we use the class as a text. Okay. So then we create another div here. We created another div with a ID of minus minute, and then with the class of text. Also create another div with the ID of seconds, and then with the class of text. We created the last div with an ID of AM and PM. Now we link this HTML to our index.js using a script element with source property. Then we put it index. So this is what we did in our HTML. We go over to CSS, try to style it. We called the body, and we gave the body property of margin 0, font family of sans serif, display of phrase direction of column, align item of center, height of 100 VH, justify content of center, background of with the URL of this image, meaning that our background will have this image on it. Then we have a background size of cover, meaning that we want everything to display normal. Then the overflow, we want it to be hidden. Good. Now we also called our h2 and we gave it some property like text transform to uppercase, and then we gave it a letter spacing of 4 pixels, font size of 14 pixels, text align center and color white. Then we called our clock with a display phrase. Then we also called .clock div with margin 5 pixels and position relative. Then we called our clock span, which we defined on the HTML here. The clock span. We define the clock span here. So we called it here. This is the span. So this is the clock span. So we define it here. Then we call it and we gave it the width, the height, the background of. Then we gave it the opacity of 0.7. We gave it color of white. We gave it display phrase. We gave it justify content, align item, font size, and text shadow. Exactly what we did. Then we called .clock text, and we also called clock AM and PM, and we give it the color background color of green. Good. After this, we now head over to our index.html. Make sure you go to your HTML and you linked this CSS to it. It's very important. If I change this thing to E and this is style, or if I wrote index here and what I have here is style and this is index, it's not going to work. So both of them must be the same thing. What I have here must be the same thing I have here. So I have to change this one to style. Good. So once I have the same thing now, before it will be able to work, let me go to the next one. Make sure when you're writing your JavaScript, you have already come to your HTML and you have already linked it using your script element. So as you can see, I linked it with script element here. That is why I was able to see it here. Script source. So now I go to my JavaScript and I start to code. I say const our element doc. So you can just try it, type it out in your own and see how it's going to work. Give us absolute results. So we also gave it the function update clock. Then we gave it the date. Then we gave it the date. We gave it get hour, get minutes, and get seconds. Then we now say do some calculation. We say if h, which is the hour, is greater than 12, Then H is equals to H, that means hour minus 12. Then AM and PM should be PM. So AM and PM is the ID that we gave it. It should change to PM if this thing work. Then that's just the function we gave it. Then we'll now say H plus H is less than 10. M means minutes. Minutes equals to minutes is also less than 10. And seconds mean S. H means hour. Hour, minutes, and seconds is less than 10. That means hour plus hour, then plus minute and plus second. So we now say hour get element dot inner text. So trying to get the inner text which we already fixed on the HTML. So we've concluded by saying set timeout. So we now update the clock and say this is how it's going to be. So this is just our JavaScript code. To learn more on JavaScript, you can check out my videos to learn more. So for this give us a unique result. So now let's view the outcome of this code by going to open with live server. Open on live server. Good. You can see now we have, let's view it. Good. You can see we have, this is exactly what we have time. This is actually the time now. Hour is 11 and the minute is this and the second is this. So what makes this thing to work, to start working, is the help of the JavaScript. If we remove the JavaScript here, so by just coming here and we comment out this JavaScript, this is not going to work again because the code, the technology that gave the function is no longer there. So when we go here now, this will not be working. Though the style and the structure is there, the style is here, then the structure is here, but the function is not there because I've linked it. I've removed it entirely from here. So when we put it back again, then let's check it again. You see that it will start working again because the function is there.
Thank you for staying to the end of this video. I hope you understand everything I taught you on this video. Starting with the HTML, which create the structure of a web page, the CSS, which give a style to the web page, and the JavaScript, which give a functionalities to the web page. If there's any concepts that you need to learn more on this, I have a full video for HTML and I have a full video for CSS. I also have a full video for JavaScript. All these videos can be found on this channel. Just head over to my YouTube channel and then you can go through all the videos one after the other. Then watch them and understand them. If you have any question, you can drop it down on the comment section as I'm going to attend to the question as quick as possible.
Alright fans, thank you for staying to the end of this video. Hope you like it. Kindly click on the subscribe button. Also click on the notification button to get notified each time I upload a new video.